Everyone, how's it going? Pixels here. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the next update on Evil Dead the game. So we got this little article published by Gematsu. I think that's how you pronounce it, or Gematsu. So what they say here is Evil Dead the game. Game of the Year edition launches on April 26th alongside the Steam version. So I think the big thing here is that the game is finally coming on Steam, which is totally awesome. You know, we're going to get a massive influx of players, hopefully. But with it being a new update, what they kind of need to make sure is once it comes out on Steam is that, you know, they've got some much needed quality of life changes in place. In my opinion, you know, some things need adjusting with the lobby and a few other things like that, and obviously some balance changes along with that. But yeah, Game of the Year edition, I'm not sure where they got the Game of the Year title from. I think a lot of game companies just do this to kind of, you know, get an increase of sales or something like that to do a new edition of the game. Me personally, I would have just called it the Groovy Edition, but, you know, Game of the Year Edition is going to include all the DLC that we have so far and all the cosmetics and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I love the art for this, and yeah, it looks pretty awesome. But like I said, the big thing here is that it's going to be coming out on Steam, which is very exciting. But, you know, there's nothing here really going on about cross progression. So if you guys do play on Epic Games Store, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to carry your progress over to Steam. Hopefully they implement that. And, you know, to be honest, across consoles and PC and stuff, and obviously the game coming to Switch eventually, which it does state at the end of the article, you know, I think cross progression would be a massive thing here. So let's hope they implement that as well. But, you know, the thing with Saber, with the updates, they tend to try and do the bare minimum, which it's not the greatest. I mean, obviously they put new content in the game, but, you know, we do expect a lot more stuff. But yeah, let's get into this anyways. So the new edition of the blockbuster co-op player versus environment multiplayer action experience bundles the full base game with a horde of content from the 6 downloadable DLC packs and more, including the upcoming downloadable content Who's Your Daddy. So Who's Your Daddy DLC is going to feature obviously Bal, and we're going to get some outfits for Pablo and Amanda. So Amanda does look like she has 2 outfits in this update. So obviously she has this one here, which is her detective uniform from the first episode of the series, and if you look on here, she actually has one with a coat as well. So I'm not too sure what's going on there. Maybe she's going to get 2 outfits. Maybe it's just like a different promo image. You know, it would be cool if she does get 2 outfits though, because, you know, she's the character that doesn't have like any outfits in the game, which is kind of bizarre. But yeah, it's nice that they're finally giving her some outfits. So of course, with the coat and they do the detective uniform, she is kind of being caught up with the rest of the survivors in the game. Of course, we'll get Bal, we'll get Brock, and, you know, we get an Ashy Slashy puppet here. So I'm not sure about Ashy Slashy, actually, because some people think he's going to be a crate trap. I personally think he might be a crate trap, but he actually looks like he's attached to the Asylum outfit for Ash as well. You know, maybe this could be like the first cosmetic that we're going to see that is going to be sort of like a charm type of thing that, you know, that's going to be on the back of the survivors as they're fighting. You know, even if he has some like voice lines or something, that would be really fun as well. But gonna be interesting to see what they do with Ashy Slashy there. And of course they have Bal's meat puppets and his demon spawn. So going back to the article, they do say it's going to be available on April 26th, which is going to be, you know, probably about 4 weeks away. You know, I was kind of hoping it might have been a bit sooner, but maybe they need time to polish some things, hopefully doing some quality of life changes, because it looks like they actually have the, you know, the content made. So hopefully they're going to be looking at doing a lot of balance changes and a lot of quality of life improvements for the game as well. But yeah, as I said, it looks like a really solid DLC. And obviously they break down Brock Williams a little bit here. So it says, new survivor Brock Williams, Ash's old man himself. Brock is immune to knockbacks and has several auras he can unleash to help his squad mates. These auras change dynamically based on how many Williams family members are in the team here. So that kind of soft confirms that we could potentially get Brandy in the future as well, which would be really awesome, because at the moment we obviously only have Ash and Cheryl. But yeah, it looks like this guy's going to be a leader. And he's going to be quite interesting as well. I like that he's going to be immune to knockback, so he can be a character that you can pretty much use any weapon with, without the fear of sort of being staggered or interrupted during combos. I'm guessing it'd be a good counter at Plaguebringer as well, because I know Plaguebringer knockbacks are a pain in the ass, and obviously being immune to like Warcry and stuff from Necromancer would be really cool. And on top of that, obviously his aura is going to change dynamically based on how many different Williams family members are on his team. So again, it depends on how much aura this guy's going to offer. Maybe it could only be 2 extra auras, so that way you can actually incorporate another survivor in there. But we'll have to wait and see what that happens. But it's going to be very interesting to see what he's like. And of course, we get the new demon, the Schemer, which is obviously Bal. Based on the notorious demon boss Ball, the schemer is a trap specialist who confuses survivors with illusions. I did kind of guess this a little bit. A lot of people asked me like what I thought Ball was going to bring to the game, and I thought, you know, he could be like the master of illusions. You know, that's kind of like what he is in the TV show. And you know, if you're familiar with Dead by Daylight, with Doctor, that type of character where, you know, the survivors can see like little illusions of the Doctor around the map and stuff, which I think would be really awesome. Of course, his meat puppets inflict increased damage with a variety of attacks based on fear levels of survivors. So I think he's going to be a strong counter to characters like Mia, of course, who has to have like a high fear level quite frequently. He's going to be a good counter to warriors as well. So it's going to be a really interesting demon to play, and I can't wait to try him out. So just say that it is his meat puppets. You know, the meat puppets are actually being voiced by some of the characters that did the survivors as well. But I'm not sure what's going to go on with his demon spawn. I don't know if this is his demon spawn and these are the meat puppet elites, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there, or if the demon spawn is kind of being saved in case they do Ruby as a demon later on down the line. But it would be really cool. And of course, this is new outfits for Ash and Amanda. And of course, there's just all this about the unique powers, abilities, just to try and get people on board with the Evil Dead franchise. And at the bottom, of course, it says a Switch version of Evil Dead, the game, is also planned for release, but is yet to receive a release date. So, of course, we might see the Switch version this year, eventually. It looks like it hasn't been abandoned. And, of course, it says in this article they're probably still working on it, which is good. I don't know why in the article they even mentioned Splatter Royale mode, because, you know, nobody's playing that. And I really hope in this update they just kind of ignore the Splatter Royale stuff, because it's just really pointless. But that is everything we know concrete for sure that's coming in the next update. But I did a little community post for you guys. I asked you guys, you know, what's your predictions for the next DLC? What new weapons are we going to get? Balance changes? You know, discussing Ball's and Brock's abilities, and if we're going to get a new map or a mode. So I'm just going to read some of the comments. So Nazia Boyd says balance updates towards the game, new quality of life changes the game needs as well. This update is probably going to be the biggest yet, I would say, with the Game of the Year edition coming to Steam as well. Those new influx of players. I totally agree. I think this is going to be a massive and a huge update for the game, and hopefully it's going to be one that does redeem it for the future as well. You know, keeping loads of players involved, you know, better matchmaking times, and, you know, as you say, the quality of life changes. You know, for me personally, I really want them to overhaul the lobby system. I want to be able to, you know, queue up to a game, you know, have the loadouts there, being able to view my collection while I'm queuing a game and stuff like that, you know, changing my builds on the fly rather than, you know, backing out, and having a totally counterintuitive system that we have right now, especially for the social side of things. You know, when people send me invites or people send me friend requests, which happens a lot for me, people want to play with me being a streamer. You know, people in my chat, you know, they add me, you know, my members add me, and they're like, oh, can you accept me? I'm like, yeah, I want to accept you guys. Just from my point of view, when I'm trying to do content, it's a bit of a pain in the ass when I'm going back to the main menu all the time, accepting friend requests, and then I've got to restart my lobby again, and it's such a pain in the ass. So hopefully that is a big quality of life change that they're looking at doing. And as you say, for balance updates, yeah, the game definitely needs balance, and, you know, maybe even the prestige system needs looked at and adjusted accordingly, because honestly I think the prestige system really fucked the balancing up on this game a lot. I don't think they will be looking at the prestige system realistically, but my personal preference would be that they looked at that. However, I don't think it's as simple as, like, you know, nerfing one side or nerfing damage numbers and buffing damage numbers and stuff. Obviously some characters like Ruby do need a nerf on some of their, you know, numbers on their auras and things, but, you know, aside from that, you know, I don't really want to just see, like, you know, book health getting buffed by an extra 5% or something. We really don't want to keep doing stuff like that. We want to see some, you know, new mechanics in place and stuff that's going to obviously make a completely new challenge for the survivors against the demon as well. You know, like I said, there's certain things and certain mechanics in this game definitely need looked at, rather than it being like just simple things like adjusting health and damage numbers, which, again, that can be really easy to do. But looking at the bigger picture here, you know, why is survivors being able to carry so many shamps? You know, Cheryl carrying 8 shamps and the other 3 carrying 3 each. So, you know, that way, you know, you've got a total of like 17 shamps or 16 shamps or whatever. It's kind of ridiculous being able to carry that many, and obviously shamps dropping off units and things. You know, there's stuff like that to look at as well. But yeah, I really do hope that they look at some balancing, and hopefully it is going to be a huge patch for that. So King Creeper says their wish list is a katana weapon. Yes, I would love a katana weapon. I've actually theorized a little bit, you know, doing some original like content for this game. It would be really cool if they did like a Japanese sort of thing. You know, like a samurai that has been fighting deadites over in Japan or something. I think that would be really awesome. Lever action rifle buff. Yes, I agree with that. The lever action rifle is kind of I wouldn't say the terrible weapon, but again, it's one of the weapons that just falls down to the point where you don't pick it up at all. You know, Ash does use that in Army of Darkness, so you kind of hope that the lever action rifle actually brings a little bit more to the table, but it's actually just like a worse pistol at this point. It's quite bizarre, honestly. I don't know what they're doing with that weapon, but hopefully it does get a little bit of a buff. It also says Blacksmith to become the most OP character for no reason. I thought Blacksmith already was OP, just saying. I'm just kidding there, but yeah, Blacksmith could do with a little bit of a rework as well. Not gonna lie, I was playing him a little bit yesterday. He can be a lot of fun, but definitely falls short to the rest of the supports. Some good balance changes, of course, and a collaboration with another IP if possible. I think they mean like for another future DLC after the ball one, but yeah, you know, doing a Resident Evil collaboration or something like that would be really cool for this game. But thanks for the comment anyways. So Sporter give me a nice little paragraph to read through, or several paragraphs to read through, but we'll get through them. But anyway, so I would love to see nunchucks as a weapon. I think there could be really neat designs, especially for the legendary versions. Then maybe a flamethrower or a gun with a flame rounds. Again, I think that would be a really cool idea. You know, a lot of games have weapons where you can do different types of ammo. So you can do like poison ammo, you can do flame type of ammo, explosive ammo, like that kind of thing. I think that'd be really cool. And again, the flamethrower was teased back at launch, so hopefully we do see that sometime. But it'd be really cool if we do see the flamethrower in this update as well, actually. We can't wait to see some gameplay of what new weapons we could potentially be getting. And again, yeah, like you said, nunchucks. You know, we're kind of running out of ideas for melee weapons, not gonna lie. Of course, we've got like some of the big melee weapons. Like we've got an axe, we've got like we've got the scythe now, you know, we've got a mace. You know, there's a few more that they could add, but I never really thought about adding nunchucks to the game. I think that'd be really cool. And like you said, being able to see like the animations and the finishes with the nunchucks would be really cool, and seeing the legendary versions of them. Throwing knives, yeah, so I've always said that as well. Why can't we, like, you know, some melee weapons be able to throw them as a type of range type of combat? You know, so we're not just stuck doing melee stuff on Survivor. I think that would be really cool, like seeing something along those lines. As I said, it could be something really fresh to add to the game, and it could incorporate between both melee and range. And yeah, I totally agree with that. You know, stuff like the hand axe as well, you know, being able to throw that, like the one-handed type of weapons, would be really cool to be able to use them as a range type of mode. Because, you know, most one-handed weapons don't really get like picked up that much, other than, you know, maybe the mace or the chainsaw. Obviously we're not going to throw a mace or a chainsaw, but, you know, like the 3-speed weapons or the 5-speed weapons, they don't really get picked up that much. So being able to, you know, the one-handed 3-speed weapons and 5-speed weapons should be able to like be throwable, so we can throw them at the deadites' heads, we can go over and pick them back up and then do some finishes from there or something. But it'd be really cool, and it could bring a whole dynamic to a play style as well. In terms of balancing, I think we're all aware that the book phase needs major tweaking. Whether that's nerfing the damage on it or changing it altogether and have different objective, it needs changing regardless. Yeah, I totally agree. I think the book phase is the worst phase in this game. The problem is, you know, it's such a strong phase for Demon because it's kind of their last way to win the game, and it's probably the easiest way to win the game, let's be honest. I think what they need to do is adjust the last two objectives. So, you know, the previous objectives like the dagger and the pages, I think they need to adjust them, make them a bit more difficult. If you are going to obviously nerf the book phase. If you are going to take away the book phase, however, I think you could leave them the way they are and have the dark ones as the final battle and make that a lot more difficult for the survivors to complete, and obviously have some mechanics in place where the survivors can't get resurrections during that phase, or, you know, if someone goes down, you know, it's very hard to revive them and stuff like that. And that way, you know, Demon can kill all 4 survivors at the dark ones before the dark ones is complete. And to me, I think that's going to be a better way to end the game. You know, win or lose, as a survivor, if I lost the game to, you know, everyone going down at the dark ones and dying, I wouldn't feel so cheesed as, you know, oh wow, I couldn't defend this inanimate object for 2 minutes as a DPS check. You know, that kind of stuff really annoys me, especially since it kind of forces me to play a certain play style. You know, most of my characters, you know, I like to run some tanky builds, but because of the way the Necronomicon is right now, I can't do that. you know, I'm kind of focused on, oh, I've just got to use the lumberjack axe because every other melee weapon just falls short at the book. You know, I can't really enjoy playing leader Ash that much at the Necronomicon phase because I'm worried about not having enough damage on my team to defend the book. You know, that type of thing shouldn't really be in my mind all the time. You know, I want to be able to go a bit expansive with my builds and a bit more dynamic rather than just sticking so one-dimensionally to defend in just one part, like one phase of the game, and that's it, which kind of sucks, honestly. But yeah, like I said, like you said as well, it needs changing regardless, and I think hopefully the devs are aware of this because it has been a complaint throughout the entire Evil Dead community for a long time. Balancing some other dumb shit like Plaguebringer's attacks. Yeah, again, I know Plaguebringer is probably the strongest demon in the game. I know demon players will probably, you know, kind of moan a little bit if Plaguebringer did get nerfed, but as long as they bring other things into play and, you know, buff some other things on other demons as well to kind of balance it out a bit, I think it would be fine if they did adjust Plaguebringer being able to just spam so much shit, especially as her boss unit, which I'm assuming that's what you mean with the boss unit. And of course the elite units are a bit spammy as well. But yeah, it's like you said, it's really dumb and boring to play against. There's other dumb shit too, but mostly just need fixing their servers. Yeah, so server maintenance, the last update was actually a server stability patch. But to be honest, it felt like it made the servers worse. You know, I've got so many clips now and stuff where you know, I'm getting hit from like 30 yards away from a AI skeleton that's going in the opposite direction, you know, and stuff like that. It can be really annoying, especially when you're playing hunter and characters with low health. You're really relying on your dodges to work for you there, and unfortunately the game and the servers fall short on like being reliable on that in them situations. So but yeah, like you say, make sure the ridiculous hitboxes aren't happening anymore. And yeah, they never used to happen, to be honest. I don't think the game used to struggle that much, you know, in terms of dodging and hit detection. But it seems as the more the lifespan of the game went on, it got worse and worse. And like I said, we haven't had a good solid server maintenance in a long time. But hopefully with the next update, with as big as it's going to be, hopefully we do get some server maintenance there. But yeah, as you said, you know, trying to do stuff fast in the game as well can be a real problem. You know, trying to spend your pink fuck upgrades, you know, trying to pick up ammo, for example. You know, you're always trying to do stuff fast in this game, and sometimes the game just is too slow to respond to it, and it can be very frustrating to play, especially as Survivor. You know, it does happen on Demon as well. You know, there's times where I'm trying to put down crate traps, so I'm trying to set down traps and stuff, and it just takes forever to do it. And you know, that's the downside of this game at the moment, is like you just always want to try and do stuff as fast as possible. But sadly, some gameplay mechanics or server stability or something just kind of falls short of being able to allow you to do that, which sucks. So other general changes I like, firstly, is a new lobby background. Yes, totally agree. With every DLC, I think we should get a new lobby background. You know, like I've always said, the marketing for this game has never been great, and I don't understand why they never market the DLC within the game. You know, there's no marketplace. You know, people could load the game up and just, there won't even be a store. They won't even know if there's new characters in the game. You know, if someone doesn't really pay attention to social media or YouTube or anything like that, you know, people could just, oh, they might update their game, but you know, they're not going to go researching what the update was about. They want to be able to see it within the game. You know, they don't want to be going to a third-party source to figure out what's in the update. So they really need to do a better job of implementing that as well. Like you said, incorporate the DLC and make us more involved with it by having a whole theme and menu and such, which, yeah, I think it would be really cool. It'd be nice to hear some new soundtracks as well around that. But yeah, then you see, of course, a marketplace, which has been said many times, but we still need one. And lastly, change the atrocious system known as the Prestige, because my lord, it has been the worst grind system I've ever seen in any game. Totally agree. It is probably the worst grind system in any game that I've ever played throughout my life. It doesn't feel like, you know, the time is worth, like the effort is worth the reward, that type of thing. So there really, like you said, there's no incentive to grind it. So there needs to be more incentives there, like we've said before in the past in discussion, like having discussions in my streams is about, you know, bringing some weapon skins to the game, bringing some new finishes, you know, kind of like cosmetic and aesthetic type of things that we can unlock through Prestige rather than buffing our characters, because I've never really seen a Prestige system anywhere outside of like an MMORPG or something where it's gonna make your character more powerful. But it's a PvP game, so I don't know why they didn't think that in their heads, that, you know, if you're playing a PvP game, you don't want to like fall behind other players because you don't have characters prestige, that type of scenario, which I don't like. I don't understand why it was like that in this game at all. And I think it was probably a lazy or a quick decision making, and you can kind of tell they didn't spend a lot of time with this prestige system at all. Yeah, like you said, if they get it right and fix it, people will have a reason to consistently play the game, and more importantly, want to get on and play the game. Exactly. There should be also more incentives to the side of the prestige system, like, you know, daily challenges, weekly challenges, you know, some incentive to play demon, you know, whether that be, you know, play 3 games as demon today and you'll get some spirit points. Like, that sort of thing should be within the game, and I don't understand why they're not really looking at doing stuff like that. But hopefully in this update we might see something along those lines happening. And lastly is that I feel like the update needs some sort of mode, if not a new map. It's a perfect opportunity to have something along the lines of a horde mode or an Elk Grove Asylum map, especially when we go back to the lobby background issue. Having an overall theme for the update, I bring DVD for a moment because they have new chapters, they have a lobby backgrounds, and even sometimes new music to go along with it as well. Incorporating these things will drastically improve the overall quality of the updates, and it'll make us feel more involved in it. Yeah, exactly my point. Like I said before, Saber always feel like they do the bare minimum with their updates. You know, it's like, we'll put the content in there, we'll do a little bit of balance changes, and then we go radio silent. Like, that just seems to be like that's the roadmap that you can expect from Saber with each DLC, unfortunately, at the moment. But it would be really nice for them to change things up a little bit, and, you know, to kind of catch us off guard here and say, oh look, we got a new lobby background. I've been asking for a new lobby background since Castle Kandar. You know, they released Castle Kandar as a new map. Like, why did we not get Lord Arthur or someone stand in front of the castle as a new lobby with some, you know, Castle Kandar themed music playing? Like, I don't understand why they didn't just do something simple like that. It wouldn't take a lot of time with them being AAA developers, which they have told me that they are. So, you know, if AAA developers can do stuff fast like that and do it with good quality, I don't understand why they can't incorporate that. And, you know, they might think, oh, well, it's not going to be worth the manpower or something like that. But then you look at Splatter Royale, like, was that really worth the manpower? Did that bring a lot of players to the game? It didn't. So, yeah, they kind of need to start getting their priorities right with some things and updates, but hopefully they improve over time. You know, but if we're coming up to the first year anniversary, you know, they'll probably do something for the anniversary, which will only be a couple weeks after this update. You know, hopefully from the anniversary onwards, we start seeing some more consistent behavior, I guess, from Saber, where instead of being consistently poor, which they have been lately, we'll actually start seeing them being consistently responsive to the community, and, you know, putting in some solid updates that we can all be happy of as a community, rather than kind of just sitting there months on end and just being like, you know, staring at a Twitter page that only retweets, you know, some streamers or something. You know, it's not really a good way to communicate with your player base, and they really need to be better at that. And, you know, there's some responses on Discord and stuff, you know, people ask questions to the Saber moderators and stuff on Discord, and they're like, oh, we'll ask the team this, we'll get back to you, and then, like, they just go radio silent. You know, it's just no way to really communicate to your audience or to your player base. And I think they're quite privileged, honestly. I think they're taking us all for granted. We are quite a big, and, you know, the Evil Dead community is very niche. It's probably one of the most loyal and consistent community throughout most franchises, honestly. You know, they're very diehard fans of Evil Dead. I'm a diehard Evil Dead fan. I think a lot of people are as well. So regardless of what you're going to put into your game, we're going to like it. But at the same time, we expect some sort of communication. We expect some sort of, like, feeling like we actually matter, rather than, you know, we're just mindless people playing the game, or who's bought the game and spent a lot of money on the game. Like, we actually feel like we want to matter, and that our voices are being heard and taken serious by the dev company. And of course, you don't want to get in too serious with it. You know, you don't want to get personal. You don't want to get like, oh, the devs owe me this, the devs owe me that. You know, you don't really want to get to that level, because I've been at that level before, and I kind of just got pissed off with it. So right now I'm just enjoying doing content for the game and just focusing on myself and my community alone, and obviously the game's community. But that said, I think from a player base standpoint and from a fan base standpoint, we do deserve better, and hopefully Saber recognizes that. Otherwise, I think Saber's going to taint themselves in the future from, you know, putting us as a player base off buying any more of their games in the future, which could really hinder their stock and things. So they've got to be wise about that. But yeah, so that was a lot of stuff to get through, Spoda. Thanks for the comment, man. And he says he's been begging for a roadmap, but I guess that's just never going to happen. So I'll have to make one myself. Yes, a roadmap. I would like to see a roadmap once we get the anniversary. Once we get the anniversary, I'd love to see a second-year roadmap, what they've got planned. You know, it doesn't even have to be a detailed one, you know, just say like, oh, we've got like, I mean, what do you want to call them? Like chapters at this point. Just say we got some chapters planned, like, we've got 4 overall chapters planned to release new survivors, new demons. And, you know, within that, we're going to be working on a Switch release. We're going to be working on adding a marketplace to the game. You know, something like that would be a great, like, rough estimated like, roadmap. And it wouldn't be too in-depth. And I think that's something they could pull off, potentially. But yeah, I appreciate the comments, Spoda. So the next comment is from KinVig6690. I'm hoping that the map is the town from the 2nd season. Can't remember the name. It is called Elk Grove. Has the police station and the asylum from the episodes reference to Ashy Slashy. So yeah, I'd love to see the asylum, you know, the bar where Chet works at, you know, having all those from Elk Grove would be really awesome to see in the game. The Gaming Pro also said, I think we will probably get a new mode and weapons. I hope we do get a new mode. I'd love to see a horde mode, honestly. As far as a map as well, I didn't really talk about a map, but yeah, seeing something like Elk Grove in this game would be huge. I'm not sure if they've been working on a map at all, because obviously they've been putting some manpower into Splatter Royale. But it also depends, you know, how many people's actually working on this game. You know, Saber Madrid actually employ 200 people. Are they all working on this game? I doubt it. They're probably obviously working on other games as well on the side. It all depends on the manpower working on this game, but, you know, maps can be very big and complicated to make. You know, there's a lot of texturing going on there. There's a lot of 3D modeling going on there, so it can take a long time to bring out a map. As big as the maps are on Evil Dead, you know. But like I said, you know, I'd love to see like an Elk Grove map. I think that would be a really cool one to see. If not, a horde mode. You know, what I've said with a horde mode, you know, make it so it's just like the cabin, make it so it's just a part of Castle Kandar, you know, like one side of the castle we have to defend. You know, they could do it with, you know, they could do different areas of the maps that we have already as well. So Fishing Village could become a horde mode area. Frying Pan Tunnel could be a horde mode area. Flight 666 could be a horde mode area. You know, like defending the plane, stopping the demon from getting to the Necronomicon or something along those lines would be a really fantastic horde mode. And I don't think it would be too difficult to implement, especially if you've already got the areas designed on the maps. You know, it's just all about kind of cornering off the map, sort of like what they do, you know, during the missions where they just have like a black fog or a grey fog going around in certain areas, and you've just got deadites coming at you through the fog. You know, doing something along those lines would be, you know, kind of great, but they could also expand upon that by adding defenses and things. So I would love to see a horde mode, and honestly, it'd be a million times better than the fucking Splatter Royale that we got. Frank J. White says there's only one weapon missing now, and that is an Ash character exclusive, and that's a puppet Ashy Slashy. That's all I want. So seeing Ashy Slashy as a melee weapon would actually be quite interesting if you had him as like a one-handed melee weapon. Only Ash can pick him up as well. That would be pretty funny. Obviously Kelly actually picks him up in the show as well, so if it was exclusive to Ash and Kelly, that would be hilarious. But yeah, I mean, seeing Ashy Slashy or something unique like that as a new weapon would be really funny. And it would be very Evil Dead, let's be honest. I think it would suit the game, definitely. The Twisted Doctor says, balance and bug fixes most of all. Please fix the game we already have before adding new stuff, but since I know there is for sure new content coming, the game needs a new demon and hopefully a new map later down the road as well. Yeah, so obviously Baal will be the new demon there, and I think Baal will probably keep the game a little bit fresh for a while. But yeah, like I said, if you are releasing Baal, it would be nice to see some other incentives there to kind of like swap it up so everyone's not picking Baal all the time, because it will get quite boring if you're just playing against Baal. Like, I mean, of course you want to learn like how to counter the demon effectively like they did with Plaguebringer, but it would be nice to see if they had some incentives to people to actually still play Warlord or Necromancer or something, just to kind of give us the variety there as well. But yeah, like everyone's again is saying with the new map later on down the road would be really nice. Jermaine Gomez also says brass knuckles please, rusty chain, flamethrower, new map please. Again, asking for a new map. Totally agree. You know, we only have 3 maps. And 2 maps really feel similar, you know, the cabin map and the the Cleaver County map, which is the map with Dead End. That's the biggest map in the game. Those two kind of feel similar. I mean, I personally love the cabin map. Is the best map in the game. You know, it has the perfect speed throughout the game, you know, the perfect pacing throughout games where, you know, you can quickly get loot, you can quickly get the map pieces, you can start doing the fights and stuff, and it's a lot faster on the demon side as well. It's easier to find survivors on that map, easier to get infernal energy, easier to trap things, you know, all that stuff. That's why I think the cabin map's perfectly balanced, and if they look at doing new maps, they should really focus on making them look the same size, so hopefully they can do that, and like I said, hopefully they add a new map as well. Russ says, prediction, this is going to be a mess and screw things up. Whenever Saber do an update in time for new players, you know, Prestige, Ruby, Splatter Royale, it's buggy and a mess that puts off new players, and it is embarrassing. Brock and Ball won't be balanced. Ball will virtually one-hit kill hunters due to his fear mastery and high damage when you have high fear, so all demon players will have him maxed out ASAP. Pretty much destroy a lot of new players because, let's face it, Saber won't think about balancing things around the fear side effective enough, and in a month we will all be sat here saying, I can't believe they didn't think of this to test this properly. All new DLC is welcome, but whenever they time it for a new player base, this time Steam, a shiver goes down my spine. I totally agree. You know, there's some stuff rushed out in this game. You know, the last 2 or 3 updates have felt very rushed out just for the fact that they've been getting new players in. So obviously we had the free players on Epic Games Store. We had the free players coming into the game from PlayStation Plus, and there was a lot of stuff that just wasn't really thought about. Like the prestige system was not well thought out. It just seemed like they rushed it out to us because of that fact that the game was going free on Epic Games Store, and you know, the people who got on Epic Games Store wanted to see like, oh, I have a prestige system I can grind for. They maybe thought like that would give them some incentive to keep playing the game, when to be honest, I think it turns most people off. It does the exact opposite what they were intending, which is what I go back to saying, like Saber seem to do like the bare minimum in their updates, and we never really see many quality of life improvements. It just feels like we do get content thrown into the game now rather than actual looking at improving the game overall as well, which someone else said, of course, they'd like to see some balance changes instead of them adding new stuff to the game. And you know, for me, with the last update, what I said was, all I want to see is a new demon. You know, I wasn't really bothered about seeing cosmetics. I wasn't bothered about seeing a new survivor. I really wanted to just see some much improved quality of life changes for this game, and hopefully they are going to do this in this update. Like I said, it looks like they're gearing up for it to be a huge update, and let's just hope they don't fall short on that. But yeah, thanks for the comment, Russ. I do agree with a lot of things that you've said there. It's quite annoying that they kind of go that route with some of their updates. And my final hour says, I don't have any predictions, but I love more executions for all weapons, more dismemberment, like being able to cut them in half would be really fun. Yeah, I think with it being Evil Dead, you expect to be a bit more gore. You know, it is quite a gory game already, but you know, Evil Dead's way more gory than what the game showcases, especially with you know, with entrails coming out from the deadites, you know, chopping off heads, and you know, loads of blood coming everywhere. So it would be nice to see a lot of that stuff. Like you said, new finishes, new executions for all weapons. That should be something we should be able to unlock and give us an incentive to play the game as well. So totally agree with your comment there, and I appreciate you commenting on this post. And so Tony Ekman, or Ekman, hope I said your name right, thanks for the comment, says demons versus AI bot. You'd like to see that in this update, or you think they might be adding it? The difficult thing is, so demon versus AI is a good idea. I can see why it's a good idea in some cases where it's like, you know, you want to practice some things with demon, you know, damage numbers, etc. What we can do with survivor. The problem is, I think with the AI bot scenario is that it's going to be, I mean, you don't want to challenge obviously, but it's going to be just too easy, where it's like, you know, you possess one, or you power possess an Elgos basic unit. The AI is not going to really know how to counter that, so you're just going to down them instantly, you know, that type of thing. You know, I do get what you mean though, where demon needs some type of place where they can practice damage numbers and stuff. And you know, if they can do it where the AI bots are really tanky, you know, they're really hard to kill, I think that would be probably a better way to do it. You know, they definitely need to code some AI bots to be way better than what they are in like having AI teammates, you know, that type of thing. But I appreciate all the comments, guys, for your predictions for the next DLC. Like I said, I think it's going to be a huge DLC. I'm really excited for it. I appreciate everyone who commented on this post. Like I said, it's nice to have a little discussion and hype up the next update. Potentially, theory rise about things that could be coming to the game, and gets everyone kind of excited as well. I mean, sadly we're 4 weeks away from the update, but hopefully, time flies, and hopefully this video got everyone hyped up for the next DLC. And like I said, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed the video. Hit that sub button if you're new to the channel as well for more Evil Dead content and more discussion videos like this. And I'm very excited for the next update, and I do stream this game Monday to Thursday as well, so you don't have to go anywhere else for Evil Dead content. I do a lot of Evil Dead content on this channel. And thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Pixels, my awesome viewers. I'll catch you guys in the next one.